Recently, just a week after the Kazan BRICS Summit, the Bank for International Settlements unexpectedly announced it is backing out of the mBridge payments scheme, one of the highest profile cross-border central bank digital currency initiatives. BIS has handed over the mBridge cross-border settlement system to the central banks of China, the UAE, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, and Thailand. This comes days after fresh concerns were raised that the payments network could be used to evade sanctions. However, Banks for International Settlements (BIS) head Augustin Carstens denied the report that the bank was removing itself due to links to BRICS, given that China was in charge of the mBridge working group and recently shared plans to open source blockchain-based software. Many wonder if the timing of the BIS announcement is just a coincidence. Before I proceed, I encourage you to consider liking the video and don't forget to share your views on the topic in the comment section below. Your feedback is invaluable for us and a wider audience around the world. Project mBridge, a collaboration launched in 2021 between the Bank for International Settlements and the central banks of China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates, was joined by the Saudi Arabian Central Bank in June this year. It also has many more observing members. The mBridge is a blockchain-based cross-border payment system similar to the SWIFT banking system between central banks to speed up settlements between central banks of different countries, reduce the associated fees, and create greater efficiency. As two of the central banks in the mBridge working group, China and the UAE, are also in BRICS, it's difficult for anyone not to see the link between China's decision to open source it, BRICS' desire for an independent payment system, and the BIS decision to exit the project just a week after the Kazan BRICS Summit. BRICS talks about the de-dollarization of the world trade due to heavy sanctions imposed on Russia after the Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022, and mBridge is perfect for cross-border transactions, faster, reliable, free from sanctions, and does not need to pay only in dollars. Russian President Vladimir Putin labeled the seizing of $300 billion of his country's currency reserves theft. He warned that the United States would regret using its currency and the payment system it largely controls as a weapon, predicting it would speed up the de-dollarization process. Given how the relationship between the United States and China has soared in recent years and the ongoing tit-for-tat trade war between them, BRICS has at least two influential members with a vested interest in an alternative payment system. Since China is already the largest economy in the world on a GDP PPP basis, the successful launch of an alternative payment system to challenge SWIFT and the use of US dollar in international trade would pose a significant challenge to US power. While BRICS is clearly working to de-dollarize their trade, the greenback will continue to play a crucial role in international trade for a while to come. The US dollar is still involved in 88% of all forex transactions, and central banks hold approximately 58% of all reserves in it, which means US dollar is still the most used currency in the world for trade, but the share of US dollar is diminishing in international trade. The BRICS Summit in Kazan saw many discussions on members using local currencies to settle trade. Still, it disappointed those waiting for a formal announcement of a new BRICS currency or payment system. However, a symbolic BRICS banknote was shown by Putin at the summit. While Russian President Vladimir Putin called a BRICS currency premature, his government had been teasing for months that a payment system was in the works and that it would use blockchain technology similar to cryptocurrency. Josh Lipsky, senior director of the US-based think tank Atlantic Council's Geoeconomics Center, said the BRICS debate showed payment systems have become a geopolitical issue. The BRICS summit hosted by Russia raised more concerns among Western powers about Putin's cross-border digital currency ambitions. Josh Lipsky added, mBridge is the most advanced central bank digital currency project in the world and the only one that is transacting real volumes on its rails. However, he says he was surprised the announcement was made now. Lipsky says that the timing of the announcement, especially after there had been discussions during the BRICS Summit of cross-border digital asset transfers and alternative payment systems, may have accelerated the decision of BIS to withdraw from mBridge. At last week's BRICS Summit in Kazan, Russia, the BRICS Bridge scheme was pitched as a clear alternative to the current international financial architecture dominated by the US dollar. President Putin accused the US of using the currency as a weapon against the bloc's member states. The summit was attended by mBridge members China and the UAE, as well as Iran, which, like the summit's host Russia, is also subject to numerous financial sanctions. Lipsky said if there is even a possibility that mBridge could be helpful to those ambitions, the West wants no part of it. But it's fair to ask what the consequences of this decision are. China will surely continue the work, and now the Fed, which is a member of the BIS, will have even less visibility into the project. Without BIS involvement, mBridge will likely become a China-led project. According to Lipsky, China can develop it the way they want, and the West will have less visibility in terms of transactions, partnerships, and technology than we had before. He adds that it is unlikely China will move away from mBridge and that the country may look to integrate the project into their other existing settlement systems, such as the Chinese cross-border interbank payment system. They have more flexibility now to move their CBDC projects into their other cross-border payment systems. He adds, however, whether mBridge is linked to BRICS or not, any independence they can achieve is progress toward their goal of full de-dollarization and neutralizing the West's ability to impose sanctions or call the shots in international commerce and trade. China has been the driving force behind the technology used on the mBridge project, with commercial banks working alongside the founding central banks to conduct real-value transactions. Bank of China, Hong Kong, stated it had fully integrated into mBridge to allow automated cross-border remittances for its corporate customers. Full de-dollarization may be a long way off, but BRICS is steadily marching towards it, and the pace of that march is likely to speed up in the years to come. BIS General Manager Augustin Carstens announced the step after being asked whether mBridge could provide a basis for BRICS countries, which include Russia, to get around international sanctions, a notion he rejected. However, their actions say otherwise. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for new videos on important international topics.